Hi, my name is Missy. So I'm going to do a slightly different reading today. As you can see, we have kind of a bunch of decks here. I want to go ahead and talk about the decks that we have. But before I talk about the decks that we have and why we have, I want to talk about why we have them here and what kind of reading this is that I want to do. So if you have been following me for any length of time, you know that I'm not only a tarot reader and psychic, I'm also an astrologer. And so right now we have something happening in the astrology, being a Mars-Venus opposition that will be happening in a couple of days. I think is going to be pretty important, right? Because I think there are going to be a lot of people who may end up having either an argument or something explosive could happen with Mars in retrograde in Gemini opposing Venus and Mercury in Sagittarius. Now, as I'm getting ready to explain this, I need to, I'm probably going to, oh, hold on, I need to make sure that I've got the right chart here. I think this is the one that I want. Okay, so what I'm probably going to do is edit in a picture of what the chart actually looks like so that you'll be able to see what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. But as I was saying, as interesting too, because, you know, I already have my earbuds in as I normally do, and we have the song I'm Moving On by Rascal Flatts. So I think this is definitely kind of going to be the energy that's happening for quite a few people. But I think beyond that, look, let's be real. There are going to be quite a few people that maybe if you're moving on from them, there could be something explosive that happens, or some sort of deception or betrayal that you discover, something, right? And so what I wanted to do is make the focus of this reading, you know, let the ancestors handle it, basically, I think is what I'm going to name it. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to name it something like that. I want to look at you know, what justice are you crying out for, basically? And the reason that I say that is because right now, as I'm recording this video, and I'm looking at the astrology, I can see that as we're talking, we have the Moon and Pluto in conjunction, and that happens to be in Capricorn. And it is opposing Pallas Athena. And Pallas Athena it carries the energy of, you know, standing up for yourself, fighting for your rights, fighting for the underdog, fighting for feminine issues as well. You know, and these can be, you know, with Moon-Pluto conjunction, these can be very deep traumatic issues where maybe you feel like you need justice for something that was deep and traumatic, and yet you can't do anything about it physically, right? Or maybe you know, I mean, you just can't do anything about it physically other than moving on and allowing the ancestors to take care of it. So, you know, sometimes, let's be real about what it's like to be human. Sometimes, you know, what we need to move on is the assurance of what kind of justice will be collected on our behalf, right? Sometimes just knowing that there will be some sort of justice collected on our behalf is what helps us to move on. So even though this is a little bit of a dark subject, I feel like it's a necessary subject because I do feel that with the astrology, as I say, you know, I think it's the 30th that we're going to have the exact opposition between Mars, Venus, and Mercury. But as I'm recording this right now, Venus is sitting at 14 degrees of Sagittarius, and Mercury is at 16 degrees of Sagittarius, while Mars is currently at 20 degrees of Gemini. So, you know, the energy is coming into aspect, or into exact opposition, right? It's moving towards the aspect. So you could even be feeling that energy right now. You may have already had something happen you know, where maybe you exploded and lost your temper. We have the song Little Boy by Ashniko, and it, just as I was saying that, part of the lyrics as she's saying is, little boy, who you think you're talking to? You know, so again, with Mars in Gemini, especially Mars in retrograde in Gemini, opposing Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury is Gemini's ruler, so being in the house opposing him, you know, and opposing Mars, which is angry words, right? That means that obviously there's something that either you really truly believe, you know, to be right and true, right? This is what you believe to be like according to your personal values, what is right and true, and yet there's probably someone opposing you. And it very well could be that this person that's opposing you believes that their side is on the right side as well. And in those situations, sometimes you can't do anything to get justice, right? Sometimes you have to walk away, you have to step back. But you know that there was some sort of something nefarious somewhere, right? And let your ancestors handle it. So let's talk about the decks that we have that we're gonna use. Let me close out my screen so that I can now see what's on, what's being recorded. So we have a couple of new decks for me here. This one here, I already made some reels on Facebook with it, and I loved it so much that I knew the next set of readings that I wanted to post on YouTube, I knew I wanted to include it. And so this is Supernatural Join the Hunt Tarot deck and guidebook. It's just the expressions on their faces and just, you know, I was feeling a whole lot as I was using this particular deck here for the reels that well, actually, I don't think I've even posted any of the reels yet. I think today is going to be the first one. So, and one of them I post 3 reels per day. You know, I do that because you got to post every day when you're posting reels to keep the attention, right? So if I post 3, that means 3 signs each day are going to get a reading on Facebook. So there's going to be 3 probably posted by the time this particular video goes up on YouTube. So you might be able to go and check out those reels if you want. So that is the Supernatural Join the Hunt Tarot Deck and Guidebook. This is what the box looks like. It's a nice box. And I'm showing this because I don't know, actually I have to be really honest, I was just at the psychic fair in Carlsbad and I sold a bunch of decks and I haven't had a chance to go through my inventory to see if I even have any of these left. But I did have everything that well, almost everything with the exception of this one here, I have for sale, and I'm going to post it on my website as well. Because, you know, when I bought a deck for myself, I bought an extra one to sell just in case somebody else really liked it. Because I've had people ask me before when I was doing live readings on Facebook, you know, hey, do you sell decks? So I do. It's what I've always wanted to do, is sell decks so that I can see and find as many as possible, because I have a bit of an addiction, a bit of an obsession with tarot decks. I have so many of them, it's not even funny. But anyway, that's not even the point. So here's the book here. Oh, interesting. So that's not good. And you know, we got to be real, especially if I'm going to try to sell it or whatever. Now, I don't know if it's just this particular book or not, but anyway, I was going to say it was made very sturdy, but I don't know now. Anyway, this is what the book looks like. So yeah, just that there. I'm going to have to be careful. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't typically read the books for my tarot decks when I'm using them. So this right here isn't going to really bother me too much, but if you read your books a lot, it probably will bother you. However, I have been reading this one, as you can see, and it's because it is from the series. And so if you understand, like if you know the names of the people and you understand what's going on, or like who the people are from the series, you're going to give much better readings with this deck here. And although I did watch the series, it's been so long since I watched it, and I don't think I watched the full thing, so there's some characters in here that I needed to reacquaint myself with. So but it's a really good, I thought it, you know, other than this little issue here, I think it's, other than that, pretty well made. It looks pretty sturdy. So that's not going to bother me personally too much. Let's go ahead and move on to some of these other decks before we get into the readings. So now we have the Macabre Tarot, which is this deck here, but I want to show you this because I love the box, but what else I love about the box is this. Oh wait, it's not doing it right now. It was like doing a squeaky hingy thing, and now it's not. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's messing up. Interesting. So I'm kind of disappointed with both of these now. I gotta say, like 2 or 3 times I've opened this thing and it had this squeaky hinge noise, and now I'm trying to do it to show everybody else and it doesn't. So you hear it? It's all jacked up now. Very disappointing. Very disappointing, because that was like the best feature about it, was the box and the fact that it made that noise. I mean, the cards themselves are really cute, but just for the extra price that I've got to be really honest, for the extra price that they're asking for this one, and look at, I have an extra one to sell. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I'm going to put it up or not, because I am a little disappointed at that, because that was the thing that I loved the most about this one, was the fact that it had that squeaky whatever, and I guess there's a battery right here where I can change it, but who wants to do that just to have their box keep squeaking? Anyway, so we'll put the box over there. Here's the cards, though. The cards are awesome. Aren't they perfect for our subject matter today? And to go with the supernatural deck. Like, you'll see them more in the reading, but the cards are just awesome. They've got gilding. They feel good in my hands. They shuffle well, because I was shuffling them a little bit, playing with them earlier. Then we have this deck here, which is the Vlad Dracula deck. Now, this is the deck that was the one that gave me the subject for this particular reading. I knew I wanted to use this deck in any reading. I didn't care what kind of reading it was, and it's just because of the images, the faces, like their expressions, all of it was giving me so much in the reels, right? So then I opened this one and started playing around with it, and I was like, oh, this is giving me ideas for a reading. So here's what the box looks like. It's got that in there. We have the book. Here's the back of the box. A nice book. Feels like it's made the same way as the other one. This one's a little less stiff. I think the reason the other one did that is because the cover and everything was kind of stiff, but the book is very nice. And the man who did this, he actually makes another deck that I think I have, which is the Angel Tarot, and then he makes the Occult Tarot or something, I think. But anyway, so he did a lot of research. I was reading this one as well, because again, when it's a theme like this, it really helps to know the different stories that are behind each of the thing. Like, it can give you extra in the reading. Right now, I haven't had a chance to read this particular one too much, because as I was reading the introduction and the notes, and then I got to I think I got this far in right here, and I was like, oh my God, I've got an idea for a reading. So let's do it. And we're gonna figure out I haven't used any of these 3 decks here at all in any readings yet. I have used these 2. I used this one at the fair in Carlsbad recently, but let me show you these cards real quick, and then we'll start getting into... Oh wait, I forgot to talk about the Lenormand. So this is another one that's new to me. I don't know if it's new on the market or not, but this is the Laura Tuan Lenormand Oracle. I don't know if I said that correctly. Another nice box, very sturdy, very well made, with a book that's, again, very well made. Oh, yeah. It's got, it tells you like the different positions, past, present, unexpected. It tells you all the different things. Again, this, I haven't really read it or anything. I'm getting ready to check out this deck here with you guys on camera as well. And I planned on just using well, this is an oracle deck, but I plan on using this as just an oracle deck with like just using one card. So anyway, here is the Vlad Dracula deck. Has little sayings at the bottom, which we're going to get into when we get into the reading. I really like this deck as well. Very, you know, the images are very illustrative. Okay, we have the song Last Resort by Papa Roach. So again, the music is really fitting with the theme so far. And then this is the Lenormand. Very pretty. Yeah, very pretty images so far. Okay. So let me go ahead and clear these out of the way. I don't know if we're going to get charms or not. We'll see how the reading goes. But what we are going to do is I'm going to start with the group, or excuse me, not the group, the sign that has been, you know, the most watched. Hello, Sagittarius. Let's go ahead and get straight into your reading with a couple of, well, we're going to get a couple of oracle cards, one from the Lenormand deck and then one from our, I guess it's called the Phantasma Oracle. Go ahead and breathe with me. And I apologize for my bird. She may talk a little bit throughout the reading because she's here with me. Okay, so whatever the injustice is that you're crying out about, it has to do with some sort of confusion. Like something that you're confused about is what that card there means. Hi. And my bird is saying hi. Say hi, birdie birdie. Okay, interesting. We have the Enchantress now on the bottom of the deck. So the Enchantress, this is going to be something that, it's like a seduction that you were, but it confused you in some way, right? There's something that, like somebody came in and they were trying to tempt you with something, but they were also not giving you the full story when they did it. So however that resonates, let's go ahead and... Oh, interesting. Now we've got the mountain with the moon. And so the reason that I say interesting when I look at these two cards is because the moon can talk about like work or an extra job, like moonlighting, working, you know, working another job, a second job. But the mountain, this is an obstacle that needs to be overcome. The moon doesn't always have to be about work, but I am kind of taking it that way only because I don't really see, I mean, there is water in the picture now that I look at it. We do have some water here. We haven't looked at these oracle cards yet, but there's mountains everywhere. Whatever this is, whatever it was that this confusion that you were tempted by, or whatever, where you didn't get the full story, whatever it was like it was a hard, it was something very difficult. It was an obstacle that you needed to overcome, or something that it took a lot of work to overcome or to accomplish something. There's a lot of work and effort being put in. So we have the sword, we have the moon priestess, which is very interesting considering that we've got the moon here. We have the wizard and the devil. Oh, interesting. So we've got 2 cards to represent a feminine energy and 2 cards to represent a masculine energy. And then these 2, the devil and the enchantress, would be counterparts, whereas the wizard and the moon priestess would also be counterparts. And we have the song Cold as Ice, Foreigner. So you may want to Google the lyrics on that to see how it applies to your situation, if it does at all. But the sword, well, actually, if we look at the imagery on this sword, like up close, you can see it. Someone is like double fisting this sword in order to like plunge it into something, right? So it's like there's a lot of effort, and like you're using all of your strength to do this, right? To I would say get your point across, to be honest with you, because swords are typically like air energy, which is communication. So maybe you're trying to get your point across, and like, but it did come out in the reverse. So someone wasn't really being as forthright. But who was it? Was it the moon priestess or was it the wizard? It's like, so if this card had come out upright like this, I would say someone was really trying hard to get their point across. But the fact that it's in the reverse and we're already talking about confusion, it's like someone is really trying hard to lie. Like they're really trying hard to pull the wool over your eyes, which we already kind of saw. Like somebody really tried to deceive you. Like they did it purposely. It wasn't like they just, it just happened as a byproduct of something else. Like this is where someone purposely tried to deceive you in some way. So let's go ahead and get the details of that to see exactly what it was. How or what did they do to try to deceive you? And again, whatever this was, like there was a lot of, like you had to put in a lot of work and effort on your side with all of those mountains there. And it was probably very emotional as well for you because of the moon and the water that's being portrayed in the moon card. Interesting. So we have the Terror of Cups, and the fact that it's even called the Terror, right? It kind of is explanatory, right? Like this is someone who preyed on your heart. Even though that's not really what the meaning of this particular card is, but that's what it's saying to me. They preyed on your heart, like on your worst fears. Like, so whatever it was that they did, they preyed on your emotions, on your worst fears in some way. And look at, you've got the 10 of Daggers now. So it's like, this is betrayal, like full betrayal. You can see every single one of those daggers pointed at the head, right? So the betrayal is in terms of your knowledge. It's being confirmed again with all of the daggers aimed at the head. And typically with the Ten of Swords, which is what this card represents, or what this card is, you would see those daggers in the person's back, meaning that they had been betrayed in some sort of physical way, whether that's money or love or, you know, something, theft, something, right? But with this is betrayal of knowledge. Someone kept something from you. And it could have been something that was kept from you at work because of the Emperor card. And I kind of already felt that anyway. I just got it. We have the song Sweet Love by Anita Baker. So I don't know, maybe like the only card that's come out here that's talking about love is this Terror of Cups. And yet the songs that are coming through are about love. So I have to read love from this for some people, although I have to be honest, really, you know, in any other reading with only one cup card coming out, I would see this more as a work situation, especially with the Emperor now coming out, because that's what the Emperor, that's one of the meanings of the card. It's like the boss, the big boss, right? That's what the Emperor's role is. He is the big boss. So maybe your boss lied to you about something at work, but there could be like one person watching this where this is something about a romance or relationship situation where someone completely lied to you, and it sounds like maybe they lied to you about whether or not they were single or available, I should say. Now, when it comes to a job, it's like they tell you the job is going to be one thing, but then once you get there, you find that you have, like, the responsibilities that you have are much greater than what they promised, or some benefit that you thought you would receive maybe isn't going to be as beneficial as you first thought, because there's something about it where they lie to you. Or there even could be like someone, like maybe they're telling you that you're for sure going to get a certain job, but there's actually somebody else in the running for the job. And then we have the Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck again, just confirming the energy that was coming through from this card here. Although this one is now in the upright, which is, again, it's truth in the upright. This card is meant to be an oracle card. It's actually, I don't know what the actual meaning of it is in the book. Let's look. But I would imagine it would have to do with like cutting something off, communication, honesty, and all of that, because that's what swords typically represent. It's air energy. So let's see what we can find. The sword, it says, well, upright it is a weapon. Reversed, your sharpness may be running amok. Folks and situations need to be dealt with, but not in an overtly harsh manner. The flat of a blade can still correct. Oh, interesting. Okay. So what I was saying before about driving your point home, if it was in the upright, where you're not trying so hard, in the reverse, that does still hold true in terms of what the actual meaning of the card is. But, you know, take what it says in that book, however it resonates for your situation. We have, hold on, the song, Sad Sorry After Party, Upsal. I want to see, like, what was the lie? I want to ask specifically, what was the lie? Or what is the information, the information that was kept from you, which is a type of lie, right? A lie by omission. And it could also be that maybe like, maybe you just don't get along with the people at work. We have the Ace of Crystals. So the lie is about money. Either how much you can earn or something that has to do with money or the actual benefits that you're getting. Let's see if anything else comes out. And now we've got the World. Take it however it resonates, but if you were promised some sort of promotion, it could be that once you like, or not promotion, some sort of bonus, if you take a job, right? Like there's, like maybe it is a promotion of types, but it's more of a them trying to promote the job to get people to take it. But then once you take the job, either that bonus is no longer available or something is going on, right? Like the bonus, it's like there's an end to something. There's an end to something financial. And then we've got the Massacre of Cups. So another, like the term massacre, this is something that's very disappointing to you. Maybe it could be because of like a health insurance something or other. With the, it just is the way that it's coming through here with this bottle of liquid. It's feeling like some sort of elixir or medicine, right? So maybe there's some sort of issue with health insurance. And then we have the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and like you might feel like you're kind of trapped in this situation now. Although with the Eight of Swords, the typical meaning, yeah, and look at now you've got the Magician underneath that, so that totally makes sense. And the Death card. Oh, and the High Priestess. With the Star, look at so much really good positive energy. Especially with the Ten of Bones after that, because it's saying like you might feel trapped in this situation, but you really do, like, especially with all of these major arcana coming afterwards, it's saying you really do control it. Like you could leave this situation at any time and put this burden down anytime that you want, especially if it's something that is really hurting you in some way because of that spike going through the hand. It's actually going, like, most people don't realize that's where we have a chakra there. And so, you know, that would definitely bring some sort of destruction or hurt. Let's see who's involved. We have the song We Got the Beat, the Go-Go's. So we're going to use this deck to get either the astrological signs or like personality traits of who it is that's involved in this situation. Namely, who is it that lied to you, or if there are any other people that they want to bring your attention to. Okay, so we got the Star again on the bottom of the deck. So anything on the bottom of the deck is like the energy that led you to the moment that we're in right now, meaning, you know, everything from the past until you found this video. So let's leave that there, and I might read that in just a second because I don't think I'm familiar with that particular character. Okay, so we've got the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands, that's going to be someone who is kind of a warrior, right? But it's a wounded warrior. So this is going to be someone who they're either wise, they might counsel you in some ways, or be either supportive with their wisdom or something, right? Like there's something about being a mentor with this energy there. And then we have the Hierophant, so that can be Taurus energy. Again, this is someone very wise. This is really kind of confirming for me that the Emperor card here, because you put these two cards together, that's basically what the Emperor means, right? The Hierophant is like the equivalent of the Pope in in the 3D world, right? Like that's the kind of position that the Hierophant would have, because their authority is elevated in that way. And then again, there's like a mentoring quality that comes through with the Hierophant that is confirmed with that Nine of Wands. Now we have the Five of Pentacles. So that can be someone who maybe feels like there's some sort of financial lack or something like that, right? Like maybe that's one of the reasons that they're saying, oh, well, we can't give you whatever this, whether it was a bonus or whatever this financial thing was, because of some sort of, there's lack now. Like that might be what they're saying, there's some sort of lack. Now we have the Tower. So the Tower is like, it's kind of explosive energy, right? So going back to this Five of Pentacles, this can be someone who's kind of, they penny pinch because of this feeling of lack, right? Like, I'm poor, so I can't afford to spend XYZ, but maybe they aren't actually poor, like they're just penny pinching. And then you have kind of an explosive temper with the Tower card coming through, especially because look at her hands. At least one of them is balled into a fist. And so now we have the King of Pentacles. So I think this is really an earth sign, most definitely, probably Taurus, just because we have the King of Pentacles now, which is earth energy. And again, the King of Pentacles is going to be someone who's very financially secure and successful. So this is more energy of the boss. I think this is just confirming it. Also, Uranus came through twice now with the Star and the Tower. So maybe they have... oh, I just realized we have Uranus and Taurus right now. So maybe this person, especially if they're a Taurus, they could be with the Queen of Blades, which is the Queen of Swords. They could be really angry and combative. Like maybe there's some sort of argument that you have as well. Because this is like harsh words, which really kind of confirms the Tower card coming through. That's what the Queen of Swords is. Well, with all of this other energy, if it was just the Queen of Swords on her own, I would say she's just very wise and she's not afraid to say the hard things. But, you know, even if that applies to this person, I think beyond that, they also have a temper, and they, when they say the hard things, they're actually very harsh things that might be a little bit bullying. Maybe that's the thing that you didn't realize about this situation. Like you got into a situation with a boss who didn't, like you didn't realize how much of a nightmare they would be to work with. And maybe the money just isn't worth it. Like that is really coming through as well, with, especially with this energy here. But looking at the Star, like that would be, you know, Aquarius, Uranus energy. But let's look at what it says in the book. Just because I'm not completely familiar with that specific character. It says the Star represents hope, possibility, and purity. Though Jack Klein is the son of Lucifer himself, he takes charge of his own destiny and chooses to fight against evil. An innocent being in a world of monsters, he embodies the innate goodness of the Star. Upright, it says, even when it seems as though the odds are stacked against you, the Star is a reminder to have hope. You don't have to accept a life you don't want. Remember, you have more power and control over your future than you think you do. Embrace it. What did I just say? What did I just say? Like, well, that's what's on the bottom now, but I think maybe it was over here where we had like all that really good energy that was all, yeah, look at, we've got the Guide, the Death card. Let me put my book down so that I'm not dumping stuff. We've got, it came underneath this where it was talking about you being trapped. So now this is 2 decks where you had a bunch of cards here that was talking about how you have control over this situation and can get yourself out of it. It's being confirmed again right here in the 2nd deck. So, again, you can put this burden down anytime you want. But let's see how the ancestors are going to handle it for you. But I have to be really honest. The purpose of this reading is that this is an injustice that you're not able to do anything about because your hands really are tied. I think you feel like you're not able to do anything about this situation, possibly because you feel stuck in your own head, in your own mind, and in your own heart. And I'm saying that just based on what's come through already. But we will still go ahead and look at what the ancestors want to say about it, okay? To see how they're going to handle it for you, or what they're going to do to help you handle it yourself. And we have the song, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, Aerosmith. Okay, so we've got the Hanged Man on the bottom of the deck. Let me get my glasses out so that I can see what it says, because I'm blind. So it says the wages of truth in Wallachia. And then we have the Judgment underneath that with the Page of Coins. And the Judgment says, Vlad's father and brother are murdered. And then Vlad the monk, Vlad, Dracula's brother. I don't know about those, like, you know, typically these little the little phrases at the bottom have been helping with the reading, but so far this isn't giving me anything in terms of the reading other than just the cards themselves and the meanings of the cards themselves. It's interesting to me, though, that I don't know if this is a horse or what that is, but it's been impaled next to this monk here. Right? It's like freedom has been killed. If that is a horse, it might be. I'm not exactly sure if that's supposed to be a horse or what kind of animal that's supposed to be be honest with you. But it's interesting that you've got death being depicted in a card that's about just a standstill or something being put on hold, a pause, right? A pause so that you can reconsider. But there's death depicted there, and this monk is being forced to stare it right in the face. And then we've got Judgment underneath it, which is talking about like awakening, but also it can talk about poor judgment and poor decisions. And I feel like this is what this is talking about together, where it's saying you're being forced to look at, right here with this animal staked, you're being forced to look at ways to end it, or you're being forced to look at some sort of, or face some sort of end, which I think is this situation. Okay, now we have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups together with the Page of Cups. And then the Emperor again. Wow. So for those that this was a marriage, I have to say, because it says young Vlad watching executions, the Page of Cups is typically about kids. And that's the reason that I'm saying for those that this is a marriage, because I think this was a marriage, or at least a committed relationship for somebody where there were children involved. And this is literally saying, like, your kids are watching. You got to be really careful about what you say and do in this situation, and how you take control of the situation because of the Emperor card. But again, this Emperor card coming out, it's like more confirmation to me for those that this is a work situation. Now, if this is a work situation, I got to be honest, because of the way that this cup looks like it's traveling from one person to the next, like it comes from the Emperor, but it's a cup that's traveling from one person to the next, right? It's almost like they're going to, like somebody is going to come in, I think you might be able, like there's going to be a replacement or something. Because in this imagery, the cup is it's something that is an emotionally charged offer of some kind, right? And the King and Queen of Cups, they are counterparts. And remember, we were already talking about counterparts here. So I feel like if this is a work situation, either you are offered either you are offered another job that is where the boss that you're working with or the people that you're working for is a good fit for you, or someone else is going to come in to be a good fit for this particular boss that's going to free you to find work elsewhere. Let's go ahead and I'm kind of curious to see what it says in the deck about, or in the book about these two, like their relationship, because I think I remember seeing something about that. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pause the video and I'll be. Okay, this is so interesting. So this Prince Stephen, he marries Princess Maria, who happens to be Vlad Dracula's niece. But the interesting thing about this particular story of these two here, let's talk about the love relationship first, right? This prince here, he was so enamored by his adversary, like Vlad Dracula was his adversary, but he was so in love with Vlad's niece. It says here that nothing could quell Prince Stephen's desire for the daughter of his adversary. He waited 1 year after his wife's death to marry Maria. She took an active role in the governing of Moldavia and was an extremely influential figure in the royal court. Maria's beauty never faded. And there is much evidence of the prince's love for her in the northern Romanian monasteries. And then when you come over here, it talks about, about how he takes over after Vlad, right? So this talks about not only his love for her, but also how he takes over after Vlad and he becomes Stephen the Great. It says... So the turbulent political situation in medieval Moldavia was brought to an end with the rise of Prince Stephen III, known also as Stephen the Great. He was 10 years younger than Vlad Dracula, but the future rulers forged a close bond while Vlad was preparing his return to the throne, and Stephen was in training to become a monarch himself. It says when he took the throne in 1457, he kept the Ottoman Empire happy by paying their required tribute. So remember what we were saying about the money, which would ultimately lead to a break between the two monarchs. So basically, one person comes in and takes over for the boss and ends up paying what's owed to the employees, right? And that's what causes he and Vlad no longer to be, working together or whatever the case may be. But either way, if this is a love relationship, okay, and somebody lied to you about the fact that they were still married, I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't know. I think you can get out of this. I feel like it's saying you can get out of this situation, but I feel like also with this, it's saying like this person really loves you also, which, you got to do you in your own situation. It's not for me to judge anything. Like, in this day and age, there aren't any arranged marriages anymore, at least not in the United States that I know of. Actually, that's wrong, because there are places where they do still do that. So, I don't know. You have to take this for your situation, however it resonates. It's saying here that this king really loved his queen when it comes to romance. It's also, we have the song Monsters, Shine Down. So, when it comes to this job situation, I think there might be a new boss that comes in and makes it better, or at least pays what's owed. Let's get some crystals to see how you can, how best you can get through this situation. Like, what crystals can help you so that you can let go and let God. But I don't think you really need to let go fully. I think there are things that you personally might need to do, because it's come up twice saying that you control this situation. One other thing that I want to bring up, this Princess Maria, the Queen of Cups, I felt like whether you are male or female watching this, I felt like this energy is yours, because this energy would be the energy of like the subordinate in a way, right? The king would be just you know, based on how the hierarchy of royalty is, the king is typically the first power, or the first, you know, the highest power, and then the queen is like right next to him, but not, her power isn't as high as his, right? But in this story, she is very political. She's actually very successful politically. Like, she goes on to become very successful and very well loved. So again, if this is a work situation, I think you're going to do just fine through this, especially if you just keep doing your job to the best of your ability, right? But let's get some crystals to see, you know, like how best, like how they can help you to best let go and move on in the best way. Like, take actions that will help you to become successful, as this card is talking about. Oh, hold on. Those two wanted to come out. Oh, look at that. Aventurine, Crocite, and Moldavite. I feel like this is definitely meant to be just like this. So, and actually, look at, interesting. Look at this. Remember I was talking about counterparts, right? And now we've got this where it's kind of happening again with the crystals. You've got matching, like matchy match, right? 2 green, 2 yellow, and then one that's different in between. This Crocite is about passion. Sugarlight, Sujilite, however you say that, is about your inner child. So embracing your inner child. So if you're passionate about your job, embrace that. That's what's going to help you become successful. If you're passionate about your person, even though you found out that they were married, or they have somebody else, or whatever the case is, if you're passionate about them, if you truly love them and they truly love you, which it looks like it's saying that that's the case in these cards, like maybe you guys will go on and be successful. However, I feel like these crystals need to be used in these groupings, right? Well, Crocite's hard to find, first of all, so you're definitely going to want to take a screenshot of this particular card. It's hard to find and it's expensive. So if you want to bring its energy, or actually the spirit of the actual crystal, which is the crystal deva here, you want the full picture. But if you just want to bring in the energy of the crystal, you can draw this sigil anywhere on anything, and it will call in the energy of the crystal. If you want the actual crystal deva, meaning the crystal spirit, you use the entire image, and you can actually call out the name of the crystal, which is Ulu Rael. Okay. So you would use Crocite with Moldavite and Aventurine together in meditation. I feel like they probably strangely need to go near the third eye. It feels really strong that it needs to go near the third eye. Probably so you can envision, yeah, because look, it says the unlimited self for Aventurine, and then passion, star child. So you need to envision your passion, and that's why they want you to have those crystals there. Probably you should do that in meditation when you're laying down, so you can place them on your forehead without them slipping off. Or if you have, you know, jewelry or something that you could wear them, that would work as well. So when we're coming to these here, we've got sunstone, sugarlight, and zircon. It says the keywords are raw, light radiant, the inner child, and life changes. I feel like this goes over the heart chakra, all of these together. And the reason for that is because you want to radiate your own light from your inner child, right? And the only way to do that is from your heart. The only way to do that is with love. We have the song Wish You Were Here, Incubus. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. We do have apophyllite on the bottom of the deck. Like you could, and look at, now it's coming with this right here, this chrysoprase. Oh, look at astral travel and fearless movement. If you already know what astral travel is, you've experienced it, this is just saying, like, it's kind of confirmation, like, don't be afraid that when it's happening, allow it to happen, allow yourself to float. Because a lot of times people will find themselves in that state where they're getting ready to travel, and it can be scary, right? Because you're not exactly sure where you're going. You're sure that you're not inside your body, but you're not sure where you're going. So they want you to open your heart to it. Like, be fearless when it's happening. That's really interesting that this is coming out with the rest of this reading, but in a way it makes sense because of the Moldavite. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please watch for your sun, moon, or rising. We have the song Slumber Party by Ash Nico, but I'm not sure if this is for you or the next group, so just take it however it does or does not resonate. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hit the notification bell, anything that you can to help me, because it really does help me, and I thank you so much for watching.